I'm leading the show. Boom. Perfect.
Okay, so boom. We're both. Well, you used to be in the military. Free man now.
I am a free man.
Congratulations
yeah.
on that one. I'm still in transitioning out. How many years total did you serve?
9 years.
9 years.
Yep.
Okay. And by the time I get out, I will be probably like 7.5.
Yeah.
So long time between both of us. I think that the Army was a great decision, me personally. And I want to get your take on it. How do you think that the Army, and it doesn't just have to be the Army, but because we served,
right.
How do you think that the Army translated to success in other ventures? Because you have other ventures that you've done.
Yes. Okay. So for me as well, the Army was by far the best decision of my entire life. I was super heading down on like a really, really bad path, and it saved my life truly. Without the Army, we probably would not even be having the same conversation. But it is true, like when I was saying earlier about, having advantages in life. Being in the Army is one of those advantages that you will have in life. I know I sound like a recruiter. I sound like a recruiter right now. I'm not recruiting you. Recruiters. I got out of the Army. Okay, like I'm not recruiting you, but if you are leaning towards that path, it can change your life. Yeah. It sets a certain amount of discipline in your life. You get used to being on a roll. I think that's what did it for me, was having momentum. When you never stop moving. In the Army, you never stop moving. I mean, you have 20-hour days. You sometimes have 24-hour days.
You're going beyond your comfort zone of what you would have done on your own. For me, it felt like the Army was just a big green hand pushing me full force into the most uncomfortable places and showed me things that I couldn't have done. Quite frankly, I couldn't have done it on my own. Even something as simple as waking up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Which waking up early is something that every successful person has in common, no matter what venture.
Yes.
Right?
The Army, yeah, you said it right. The Army does push you, okay? And you get used to that. So when you get out of the Army, especially if you've been in for like almost a decade,
crucial.
That momentum doesn't stop. Some people it does, and that can be crucial to your life. So if you are getting out of the Army, then I would suggest there's nothing wrong with taking a little bit of break, especially if you're retiring, like 20 years plus, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Have your time, take your break, but don't stop the momentum. And that's what I did. So I was already just used to the momentum in the Army early on. So I started investing early on, and I haven't stopped. So when I got out of the Army, that momentum never stopped because I was already used to the lifestyle. I'm already used to waking up early. I'm already used to going to sleep late. It just is what it is. So it feels very natural and easy for me. But for the individual that's not in the Army, did not come from the Army, yeah, I can see where that would be harder for you. But what in your life helps you be disciplined, So the Army may have forced me, but did you have an individual in your life? Did you have a dad that really pushed you, an uncle that really pushed you? Did you go have a football, were you really into football that forced you, to get up early?
So I'm glad that you said this, right? You mentioned dad, you mentioned, let's sum it up, male role models, yes. Right? Because oftentimes those are the ones that really push you. A big reason why I joined the Army, and this is kind of personal, but whatever. I didn't get to know my dad until later, until, I was around 16, 17. So those formative years, I was without a male role model.
Right.
So when I got to a position where I graduated high school, I was lost. And I was rambunctious, undisciplined. And so I realized that there were pitfalls in myself. There were holes in my character as not only a man, but in terms of success and what I was going to do in the future. So I looked at the Army as basically something to fill the holes in my character because I didn't have that push. I didn't have that factor in my life, that male role model that, many of us are. It's like a crisis almost. Many of us don't, and especially with men, don't have that in our lives. So therefore the drive isn't there. And for me personally, again, not recruiting, but if you're one of those men young men out there that feel like you don't have that push or that drive, me personally, I feel like the Army is a fantastic opportunity to get that push, that advantage.
I could not agree more with that. So, how do I put this? The Army in general, I was saying about mindsets, right? And how you have to have a certain mindset. And you were saying that you were really not disciplined and you didn't have the drive.
I was a lazy piece of crap. Let me just put it
But
out
I can
there.
tell you, like, I will say this. You did have the mindset. I believe that because you did it. Okay, so whether you may have been immature and young, which is nothing wrong with that, but even at that young age, because you had that mindset and you made that step, okay, you are a type of person who would be set up for success in life just for making that leap. So yes, if you don't make that leap and you don't have that mindset, and most young teenage kids are just wild and don't have a lot of drive, and that's 90% of them. That's just
Is development is part of the
it's
game,
just
dude.
part of the
Yeah,
game. You
it's
know
part
what
of
I'm
the game.
saying? But you can still be that young and have that drive, and that's why you tend to see a lot. You'll see people who join the military who came from a lot of nothing. It's
hardship, trauma.
and that's because of their lack of tools in their life to succeed. So they do use the Army, but they already had the mindset. They just used the Army as their tool to succeed in life.
Right. To push them to the next level that they didn't maybe even realize on their own.
Yeah, that's why you see, you might have friends, for like example, like, I had a buddy, we were going down the same exact path, right? Like we did the same things all the time. It's not like we did anything different from each other. We were like best friends, except I joined the Army and I went off and, he did not.
Two completely different
just
paths.
be acted the same, but my mindset was different.
Right.
Even though we truly were just both young and immature, but I did have the drive. So you had the drive there, man. I promise you.
I think a big reason why a lot of young people right now are not getting the results that they want out of life. So to be honest, when it came to the mindset, I do agree I had the seed in me, but that sounded a little gay. But what I'm trying to say, right, is that I took a look in the mirror. I was honest with myself. I said, you're a piece of crap right now. You're lazy, you're undisciplined, and you're going to be a failure if you don't do something quickly. I feel like a lot of people have a mindset now of not only entitlement, right? That's why people love the concept of socialism, right? Like, just reward me for nothing.
Yes.
I don't want to be criticized. I want everything to be safe for myself. Let me have an environment that pretty much allows for my weakness to thrive instead of pushing through that shit and doing something about it.
And not everybody, like I said, can succeed. And there's a lot of people that exist like that. So I want to say thank you to those people who are total shitbags like that, because they're making it a lot easier for me to succeed. And when I see people do that, it makes me, I like to learn from mistakes, whether that's mine
As wisdom
or somebody else's. And that's a big thing that I try to do while growing up, is to not repeat myself twice in the same mistake. And it does happen, but do your best to not let that happen. So those people that are doing that, thanks. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Because you're not competition
like,
anymore.
It's like the way I see it, right? For instance, right? If there's more gay people, that's just more ladies for everybody else who's straight.
I mean,
you're
not wrong. I mean, if you
it's
look
just
at the
opportunity,
math,
baby.
it's like that.
Yeah,
you know
thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
You know?
It's not a wrong statement.
It's not a wrong statement.
People may get offended by it, but it's a true statement. Technically, you really look at the nitty gritty. Yeah, man.
So yeah, if everybody had the mindset of just straight shooters, freaking animals in industry, then
look where the world would be at.
Yeah.
We would be in we'd be living in 3021, you know what I'm saying? Not 2021 if everybody had that mindset, but not everybody does. So that is fine. But those individuals that do have the right mindset, don't stop and don't give up and keep pushing, because the thing is it's patience. A lot of people, okay, especially these younger generations, they have the drive, and I'll be approached by them. I swear, I probably get hit up about 20 or 30 times a day,
usually
from
young
younger people asking just the simplest questions of, how do I invest? How do I do with the stock market? Okay, there's a lot more that goes into that, but you are in the right mindset. The fact that you're asking the question,
You're inquiring.
is beautiful. That's a great start. Okay, but not everybody's going to do that. So where the patience thing comes in handy is everyone, like you were saying, wants it really quick.
Yeah.
So just because you ask the question, okay, you still have to
Do the work.
do the work and act upon it. But unfortunately, doing that work can take time. You're not going to become a millionaire overnight from anything you see off of TikTok, Instagram. If you see these TikToks that say, this is how, just do this on Amazon and make $1 million.
Frauds.
I just made 10 grand in 1 week. This is how you do it.
Here in my garage, I got my Lamborghini. Remember that guy?
Yeah. What's his name with the glasses?
Oh, dude,
God.
man.
What? Yeah, he
That
was
crazy.
he was the original guy.
He's
that
the OG.
He is the OG guy.
He is the OG.
God, he had a weird name. It started with a T or something. Anyway,
I don't.
the point being.
So we started the conversation with the Army and how that led to success because of mindset.
Yeah.
Right. And I 100% agree. Looking back on your career now that you're out and you get to reflect back, what do you think was the do you have a moment when you were in that you realized like I overcame something that I couldn't do on my own? Was there that breaking moment where you're like, I broke through?
That was a great question. I appreciate you asking that. Yes, I think it was when I bought my first house. So, yeah, man. So I bought Bitcoin a long time ago. I'm going to give you just a real quick story about exactly how this happened.
God bless you.
So right before I joined the Army, I bought a few Bitcoin. And at the time, Bitcoin was trading for like $100-something or something like that. And it was like my life savings. I was like a 17-year-old kid. I had it on a hard drive because that's all you could have at the time. Years passed. I was a private first class in the Army by then. Bitcoin boom happened, right? It hit over like $1,000 at the time. So I was stationed in Alaska at the time, and I actually flew home all the way to Florida. Yeah, look at that. Flew all the way home to Florida to find that hard drive in my buddy's closet because I was staying at their house, and I found it. Okay, I hooked it up. I had like 20 grand on it, so I was super ecstatic. I took $5,000 of that, and I put it into a company in the stock market, not knowing anything about the stock market, all right, into a company called Interspace Diagnostics. It was a penny stock. And I really got lucky with this one because I should have lost my money. Don't just go throwing your money in penny stocks like that. But I did, not knowing anything, being an 18, 19-year-old kid. Right. And I ended up making about $100K. So I ended up buying my first house. Now, it started with buying duplexes. That's when I got into the investing type of stuff. That's when I had that mindset turnaround that I knew when I had that feeling, that I had that money and I had the contract signed for my first duplex. That's when I knew at that moment that I wanted... Yeah, I did it, and I'm doing it.
Yeah, you proved to yourself that it's not talking right now.
Yes.
You actually proved, you actually produced something.
Yes.
You went from mind, because I feel like a lot of people be talking, right?
Yeah.
Like people just talk for the sake of talking. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I have all these plans, but it's just all talk, no production. And, you produced it. So when you give advice, you have the product right there for people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. So it is true. A lot of people, and you do see it all the time. And a lot of YouTubers are actually like that too, where they just do the talk. And sometimes they do know what they're talking about because they do their research. But did they live it? Okay, did they actually live those experiences? There's not a whole lot that I haven't done when it comes to entrepreneur, investor type of stuff. And when I say that, just because I did it, okay, I made money in it too, in all of these things. So, I mean, I have done real estate, e-commerce. I've owned 2 companies now, which I had a clothing company, ended up getting rid of that one, sold it, made money there. I own multiple duplexes now. I've been very heavy into the stock market, actually been a legit day trader, made a shit ton of money doing that. And now I'm in the middle of branding, creating a coffee company and a powerlifting gear company because I am a powerlifter as well. And those I have actually hired a actor from Magnum PI to act as the actor. So I'm making moves, man.
So basically, I'm gonna sum this up when it comes to you. You obviously know what you're talking about, and you have proof for it. And again, we're gonna share because you have a YouTube channel, right? So we're gonna share that link in the description below, so that way people can take something away. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you mentioned earlier about 6K subscribers. I only have like 820, but we can make it 6K subscribers. We can try to do that.
Do it.
Come check out my YouTube channel. I promise you, I do try to keep everything as simple as I can, and they are very educational. Although I'm not a financial advisor, it's not advice to you. It is for entertainment purposes, but you can get legitimate information out of it. Just remember, do your own due diligence.
It's so funny because we both grew our channels around the exact same time. We're both transitioning out of the Army around the exact same time. Coincidence on coincidence. I don't personally believe in it.
Sometimes things are just meant to happen.
Line up, right? So we're transitioning out. Okay. And we talked about the momentum of the Army, but you don't necessarily have to be in the Army to create that type of momentum. So what would be your biggest advice to somebody, say they're like, nah, Army's not for me? How do you recreate that push in somebody's life to, just basic things for you? What's your advice for young people trying to get out there motivated and get after it?
Find something that you're already doing in your life now. What is a hobby in your life? Is there anything that you already put a whole lot of effort in? Are you a young kid that's trying to play college football one day or professional football one day? Are you into sports specifically? Is there a certain type of college that you want to go to? Whatever that drive. Again, it's about the feeling in the mind. It's not necessarily just the Army. The Army forces that feeling in mind on you, but if you can force it upon yourself if you have a goal outside of just investing at first. So if it is something like focusing really, really hard on being a professional football player, that's something that forces you get used to that momentum, and then just start incorporating the investing into it, because then it's something second nature to you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. When we were in the Army, we had op orders, you know what I'm saying? And basically what it is, it's written down plans, right? We always have T-2, T3. Basically, write it down. I think that even if you're not in the Army, a really good thing to do to create momentum is to write it down. And because it gives you structure, and it actually allows you to have a line or a quota that you have to meet for yourself. Now, I'm not saying go crazy with it, like make $1 million in 2 years. Like, no, but start slow. Say to yourself, this week, my quota this week, wake up every morning at 5 a.m. Just do it. And then from there, snowball effect, momentum.
Man, you are really good with just hitting with the questions. Yo, if you're not subscribed currently to his YouTube channel, please go do that immediately, because those are the kind of questions right there that anybody being interviewed would just love. Okay, so all right, just sum it up in a smaller question real quick for me, and I'm gonna try to slam it for you. Good.
So basically, you're talking about in terms of what exactly, like the whole. Yeah. So basically, if you don't write something down, right? You mentioned that you're a power lifter. That's
perfect. So that'll give it off right there. So freelancing writing is something that I really like. And the reason I asked you to re-sum it up, because I wanted to actually show something. When you're talking about writing things down as giving yourself a type of quota or something, there's something that I've been doing for a very long time, and I'd love to show you. So in my phone, when I come up with an idea or anything, it doesn't have to be just an invention. It could be like a timeline too. In my phone, in my notes, I actually write everything down, and it's filled with stuff over time. I'm going to let you just read a few of these. And
Do you mind if I?
Absolutely. You can start from the top.
Okay.
It's just random ideas. I could be driving. I could be on the shitter, and I will throw it in there, and then I'll revise it by doing what's called free writing. So you take the idea and try to write 5 minutes straight about the idea.
And what's crazy too is that anybody can do it, because every phone has notes.
Yes. It doesn't even have to be that. Just write it down. Write it on your hand and write it down on something later.
So we have ammo can coffee. I know that that's something that we had spoke about before on a personal note, right?
Yeah.
The coffee, which is a huge thing in the military. Laundry basket with 2 sides. one almost dirty, and one for
So this is really funny. So
one for almost dirty and one for dirty.
So here's the ideas. There'll be some really funny ideas, and I'll tell you how some of these came about, which is really funny. So that's hilarious. My wife is always yelling at me. This probably happens to a lot of people where I have a shirt and I want to wear it again, okay? Because like it's still, I wore it for like 5 minutes. I want to wear it again, but I throw it down somewhere. So I have it's a laundry basket where you have one side that's almost dirty, so you can throw it in there and knowing you can use it later, and one that's actually dirty.
So simple. Yeah, so simple. Advice giver's website.
Okay, so this one is great. It's almost like an Angie's List. So Angie's List, or anytime you search something on Google specifically, you're generally looking for something on Angie's List for a person to actually come repair something, come to you, fix something. So on the advice type website, it would specifically only be for that alone. Advice. So if you have like a fridge that's making funny noises, you can find someone in your local area to literally FaceTime them, let them see it, and give advice on how to fix it without ever having to come to you. Social distancing, you know.
I really like this one. We could go on and on, but I'm going to stop here because this one's really nice. Weed for Vets website.
Okay, I'm glad. That's a great one to put in.
So,
you know, I personally am a medical card holder here in Hawaii for reasons
you got that pen.
Yeah, I do got.
I'm still in. I'm not hitting it. I'm
I'm out of the Army, all right? And it's for medicinal reasons, YouTube, okay? I have a card for it.
Well, it's important for vets to...
It is very...
It's helping a lot of us.
The reason I'm a very, very big supporter of it, and I joke about it, but it's truly changed my life around a whole lot. I had pretty bad, very severe PTSD issues, and I have metal in my leg as well. So just from the Army.
It hits both.
It takes care of both fully, and it truly,
mental.
like, you know, when you have... I know it sounds very generic, but sometimes a lot of vets do go through it with like fireworks and stuff, or just loud noises that come out of nowhere. It could be a car popping. It makes you.
But you hit that pen a couple times, and then it's just back.
And I'm golden. So the point of the website is what I would like to do, and I'm actually going to that one's going to be in the works. It's going to be called bootsforbuds.com or .org. It's going to be an organization to basically help vets that cannot afford to get their medical cards or how to set up to get their medical card. You can come to my website and we will have a fundraiser where we can buy and basically pay for the whole thing and set you up with your medical card if you do need it.
That's beautiful, man. And, God bless you for that. And for both of us and for everybody out there, wish all entrepreneurs, dream chasers, the best of luck in all endeavors.
100%. If you believe in something, all right, and you truly want to do something in your life, you can do it. No matter your limited tools or not, it is possible to make anything happen if you do not stop the momentum. It's all about momentum. Write on a board every day, what did you accomplish for the day? The next day, see if you can beat what you wrote on your board.
We're doing a survey around the country on the way population handles themselves in speech, deals with their friends, and interact with their peers.